YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Yella, and this is gonna be my opinion, aka review of the new Razer phone. All right, so let me start by saying that I am not a heavy gamer. However, the specs had me curious about this phone. So I do some mobile gaming, but I'm not considered a heavy gamer. So I just figure I'd throw that out there right now. Now, there are some things that I love about this phone, as well as some things that make me hate this phone. And it's not to knock what Razer did, but me hating things is because some of these specs I would love to see on other flagships. So I'll start out by my favorite thing about this phone, which is the speakers. The speakers are phenomenal on this phone. If you're looking for a media device, some normal gaming, this might be the phone for you. So if you've watched other reviews, they just don't do it justice because you can't really capture the essence of the speakers on this phone. If you're near a Microsoft store, I suggest you go in and you play around with the speakers, or play around with the phone and listen to the speakers for yourself, and then you can be the judge. But if you're looking for my opinion, there's no other phone on the market that has better speakers. The speakers they have separate amps for each speaker, and they sound great. Now, with that being said, that's kind of where other things start to fall apart. So this phone has 8 gigs of RAM, and it has the latest Snapdragon 835. So you would think that on paper, in theory, that would be a really nice gaming device, especially when you add in the 120 hertz for the screen refresh rate. Now let's look at that for a second. So the refresh rate, see if you guys can actually see that. You can choose between 60, 90, and 120 hertz. Obviously, if you're a gamer, you would want it on the 120 hertz. Okay? When you activate that, you will see a difference of how smooth and fluid the phone maneuvers. However, it is not optimized. And what do I mean by that? Well, the casual gamer, such as myself, as you can see some of the titles here, those are some of the games that I played. Eternity Warriors, Implosion, Jetpack Joyride. I just tried out the Heroes Evolved, and the Breakneck, I think is an older title. But just to give you an example of not being optimized, first of all, let me show you. I'll go back. I'm going to change the refresh rate back to 60 hertz, which is what most games run at. So we will do Jetpack Joyride as the example. Hopefully that's the one I selected. I may have just clicked a different one. Yeah, I just clicked a different one. Let's get out of there. And to make it fair, I'm going to actually let's see here. I'm going to make sure I don't have anything running in the background. So I'm going to clear that out, and let's choose Jetpack Joyride. And I'll show you what I mean with it not being optimized. So check out the speed. This is normal 60 hertz. And you can see how the guy kind of maneuvers. Not too bad. I'll go ahead and crash him out. Alright. So what I'm going to do now is go back out, and I'm going to change the refresh rate. I'm going back into display. I'm going to go back, refresh rate. And my apologies, it's tough to do this from behind the camera. So I now changed it to 120 hertz, okay? And let's go ahead just to make it fair. This is another thing. I'm not used to doing a clear all from the top of the screen. Usually with Android it's at the bottom. With this phone, for whatever reason, it's at the top. So we'll go ahead and start that up again at 120 hertz, because this is why gamers would get this phone, because of the 120 hertz refresh rate. And check out how fast it's going now. So this is almost like you're at the top level for speed at this point. So it's definitely not optimized for that game. And there were a couple other titles that it wasn't optimized for as well. And actually, I'll do another example. Now, I'm still getting used to the operating system here. Okay, so you would expect for this to be considered a gaming machine, or a phone created for gamers, that you're going to get the best experience with gaming. But that's definitely not the case. So what I'm going to show you right now is my iPhone 10, how it runs Eternity Warriors 4, and how it runs on this Razer phone. And I'm actually going to start the Razer phone first, just to try to make it fair. So as you can see, I tapped the Razer phone first. And look how it lags behind. It still hasn't caught up. 8 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 835. And then for some reason it gives this weird error about the Gear Club has stopped working, which, as you can see, I didn't have anything running in the background. So that's definitely a glitch. Alright, so I'll swipe to get out of that. So that just goes to show they kind of released this device, in my opinion, half-baked. So I'm sure they're going to make improvements to it. However, these are things I expected to be taken care of at launch. And speaking of at launch, things that weren't included is the Arena of Valor, Final Fantasy, and Tekken. So those are all game titles that are rumored to be included on this phone, and they still aren't available. So just feel like they rushed this device. They should have held it a little longer and then released it with everything all together. Another thing, I bought this from the Microsoft store. They had absolutely no accessories. Not one case. Not one. No case for this phone. So that's just unacceptable. Especially at $699. So at a $699 price point, I would have to say this phone is not worth my budget. I can't speak for others, but for me, this phone at this stage in the game would have been better served at, I would say, $399. No more than $499. Not to say that that's not going to happen with the holiday season. Hopefully Razer sees this video and understands that they need to give a huge discount for this phone right now. Not being optimized, not having accessories available. It's just unacceptable. Now the camera is another situation where a lot of people said was a weak camera. I would agree. It's not the best quality. It took some decent images. Like there's a low light photo there. I mean, I could live with how the camera functions. It wasn't horrible, but definitely not up to par with like the iPhone 10 and the Galaxy Note 8. So if you're looking for a great camera experience, I would probably look elsewhere than this phone. It would get you by if you're not really into photography and, you know, using your pictures for things other than Instagram and Facebook. But my apologies, I'm still fighting this cold, guys. Battery life has been pretty solid on the phone. It will get you through a full day. It definitely won't get you through 2 full days. But definitely a full day. It charges pretty fast. I can't say that it charges faster than like a Galaxy Note 8 because I've had that experience. I mean, that's a pretty fast charger. Maybe the charging gets quicker over time with this device, but with it being the 4.0 charge, I didn't see too much of a difference as far as the length of time. But yeah, those are really my opinions on the phone. Actually, I'll just give you an example of the speakers. Yeah, let's see. Let's go to YouTube, and actually, I'll go to one of my videos so that way I don't get in trouble here with YouTube. And this was my unboxing video, so I'll just turn up the volume here so you guys can get a feel for it. But highly anticipated device. I picked it up from the Microsoft store. Kind of disappointed though. I really wanted to try to get the special edition, the one that has the green Razer symbol, the snake or whatever. But the speakers are phenomenal on this device. So hopefully Samsung takes heed and actually gives us some stereo front-firing speakers on the next Galaxy Note. To me, that would really push the Note line over the top. So keep the things the way they are with the Note and then add on some speakers similar to what we have here on the Razer. Button placement. I do like the idea of having the fingerprint reader built in right here on the power button. But it is an odd placement. It's sort of in the middle of the phone and it fits flush. Very quick reader. So that's a decent placement, I guess. You could possibly get used to it. The volume up and down is basically in smack dab in the middle as well. But overall, if I had to give this phone a score, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. I love the idea of having 120 hertz. Once they actually optimize it, it should be a pretty good experience. The only thing is I don't have much faith in that being optimized, especially on the Android platform. And as you guys know, Android just half-bakes things in my opinion anyway. I mean, Nougat is probably on a few handsets and they had already moved on to Oreo, which seems like it's already about to be obsolete, and they're still top tier phones that don't have Oreo. So I just don't trust the process with Android. So with Razer being a brand new option, I just don't know if I trust that they're gonna have games and things optimized to use on this phone before the phone becomes obsolete. So with that being said, if you're looking for this device, I would say maybe hold off until after the holidays, see if the price drops. But if you got money to burn, you know, if you want to drop that $699, be my guest. For everybody else, I would say maybe hold off. $399 for me would be the sweet spot for this phone. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know your opinions, if you have this device or not, what your experience has been like. Hit that like button, subscribe. And again, I apologize, guys. I'm still in the midst of this cold, but I figured I'd get out a review for you guys before the holidays, before you make your decisions. So that's it. All right, your boy Yella. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.